Hello again. I hope everyone is doing well. So, as per my title, I am making my version of a gingerbread house. I am not much of a whimsical type crafter, but lately here I've been having a little bit of fun. It's not perfect, but again, I enjoyed doing this. Now, if you found yourself on my channel, I hope that you give me a thumbs up and why not go ahead and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get in to the video. I'm going to try to keep all of my describing to a minimum. So hopefully you guys will get the gist. So using a 12 by 12 decorative sheet of paper, I'm going to cover the cutouts that I have here. And I'll get closer so you can actually see the actual pattern of the paper. Okay. I figure things out as I go sometimes. It'd be a good idea to mark what's your front and back. I actually am not going to have a back to this house, but if you do, I recommend you do that before applying your material on your boards. Okay, so now I'm going to glue these pieces onto the decorative paper. And of course, you guys, you probably could have guessed, I'm going to use my Mod Podge for this. Now that I have all the pieces attached to the decorative paper using that Mod Podge, I'm going to let that sit and dry, and I'm going to go ahead and wash out my brush. I don't want that Mod Podge to dry up on it. Now that the glue has dried, I'm going to take my X-acto knife and cut out my pieces. To cut out my windows, I'm going to take my X-acto knife and make pie slices, and then I'll peel that paper back. I have like a gallon size plastic bag that I keep a bunch of strings and ribbons in, and I found this brown ribbon that was enough to trim all of the windows. So I'm going to use a little bit of this mix as well as, well, all the way around it's a snowflake mix, and I got this, as you can guess it, on 50% at Hobby Lobby, but I don't have the price. I want to say this was $4.99. So kind of looking like the snow is collecting at the window sills a little bit. And now we're going to move on to the other pattern or the other panels. So quite some years ago, you guys, I got these little stickers. I want to say it was at least 3, 4 years ago. The adhesive backing is even coming apart. But at any rate, I like it because it's a dimensional type sticker, and I'm going to place that in the circle part of the house. As you can see, that adhesive is kind of coming apart. Incidentally, you guys, I do believe that brand is Jolie, so those type of Christmas snowflakes may still be out there, but it was at the dollar store that I got them. Oh, Jolie's, there it is right there. And what are the chances of this fitting perfectly for this circle? But at any rate, this is where it's going to be. In conjunction with the dots of glitter glue, I am going to add some of these diamond dots. I had misplaced these, you guys, but found them. So I'm going to use these to embellish on the house as well. I know many may think this lady has a lot of vinyl. Years ago, I used to do a lot of projects with vinyl, so I do have scrap material. So I'm going to use the scrap material for the roof. I placed the two cardboard pieces that would be the roof together, and then I applied the vinyl over the whole of them, the both pieces. But I didn't do it really tight. I wanted to be able to bend those two pieces back down into the A line, which would become the roof. And you guys, I'm not, worried about that there's going to be a seam. I had to use the material as I had it. I didn't have enough material to go over all of it, but I did have another scrap piece to cover over the rest. Okay, you guys, despite the fact that my, what do you call that, header there for the door? Top of the door, whatever you want to call it, is a little crooked. I don't care. We're gonna go ahead and put these three panels together now. So even though I ditched the Velcro method, I still wanted to utilize the tabs using a glue gun because it, for me, helped me to line up my panels. So I did that. And then once I attached the tabs, I went in all the way alongside the boards and used a glue gun. Now that I have all of the side panels together, I am going to add the triangular part wall using my Surebonder glue gun, and then I'm going to reinforce all of the seams with my Surebonder glue gun as well. Now that the glue in the back part of the roof is set, I'm going to glue in with the Surebonder glue gun the front part of the roof. Okay, So this really is now set in place. Now I can go ahead and put a door handle on and embellish a little bit more on my house. I was thinking that this house needed a chimney, so I figured out how to make one. So guys, what you want to do is I took a strip of the wood and I figured out the slant. Once I figured out the slant, I kind of held my scissors to that slant and cut it. And then I transferred it onto a thicker piece. And then I flipped it around. I flipped it around on the piece of wood and cut it, and then I flipped it around the other way and cut it the other way. Once I had those two pieces, all I needed to do was figure out where I needed that to be to cut what would be the front of the chimney and there. Now once I figure out the front and attach these two slanted pieces together, I can then figure out how much I need for the back. I'll show you. So now that I have these pieces together, I now know the length at which I need to cut that final piece that slants. If it's just perfectly on top of the roof. And now I have my chimney that will fit perfectly onto the house. My thought is, do I do a double little stitching around the side up at the top? You know how they usually have the bib around the chimney. I'm thinking whether or not I want to do that. This was not done on purpose. I tell you guys, reasons like these, I end up keeping my scraps. So in cutting my roof, the material off my roof, this is what I had left over. And I'll be darned if I mean, it's a little bit over, but just enough to wrap around the chimney, you guys. I can't make this up. Strip of glue on this end, and we're gonna make it corner to corner. If I have to trim off any edges, I will. And I am just going to, at each corner, I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue so that it has a good adherence to it. I'm gonna do the next one, and then I'll just do this in right here again. And then that way, hopefully it'll give it a clean break. Bada bing, bada boom. Should be enough where I can now cut it. Let's go ahead and cut it. There you go. And I have a clean break. Now I'm gonna go ahead and trim the slanted part around. And I'm gonna use my smaller scissors. Okay, so we're gonna just go ahead and cut. And I'm gonna cut there. And so there I have the base part of my chimney. I can affix it. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this as well first. I kept going with it, you guys. I felt, why not make a mailbox? So this is the construction of the mailbox. It's at this point that I'm making the literal box to the mailbox part. I took a piece of cardboard, as I said, and I curled it. And then I actually attached it to a flat piece of cardboard. I got off view a little bit because I was watching a video or a show intently, so my apologies. I thought it was a good idea to make it look like there's mail in the mailbox. So I cut out a square piece of white paper, took a red pen and put some little squiggles on it, and then I put it in the mailbox. Oh, and the black ribbon is for the base of the mailbox. I wrapped it around the base of the mailbox. I wanted to make a snowman, you guys. However, the scale of this snowman was much too big for the scale of the house that I made. So we're just going to find some other place to put it. But I still wanted to show the process by which I did or I went to make it. I decided to use the pearl white paint from Folk Art for the front part of the snowman. The back side, no one's really going to see it, but I did put glitter on the back side of the actual snowman. I used a clear type glitter once I applied the paint. It kind of is a holographic kind of effect to it. And then I used the winter mix from Hobby Lobby to embellish it a little further. And as you see that bling wrap there, I use that for the outline of the snowman so I don't have any raw edges. I used two of the little diamond dots for the eyes, and then for the nose and mouth, I had some elastic gold string that came off of a gift some time ago, and I just cut pieces of it off and then glued it onto the base. And yes, as you can see, there's probably not much explanation needed for that. I just took a little wire and added the green garland onto the wire and poked it out a little bit here and there to make a makeshift Christmas tree for the front of the house. And pretty much here we have it, you guys. The only thing that I did not video was me just placing a pearlized bead on the door for a doorknob. Everything else I think is pretty much plain to see. Well, if you're still hearing my voice, that means you've made it to the end. So I appreciate you guys for sticking it out. And I hope that you like this video. If you have, will you show me by giving me a thumbs up and possibly even subscribing to my channel? You guys take care. Even if you do or don't celebrate these holidays, take care and enjoy the life you have. Bye-bye.